Today we're going to talk about taking Trader Joe's, the grocery store, which is now currently across the United States of America, to expand it overseas. Our first store we want to open is going to be in Australia. Why Australia, you ask? Well, Australia is a lot like North America and the United States. They have the same type of urban, suburban cities. We will start by first opening our store in Sydney, Australia, which is located in New South Wales. I will show you a picture here where you can see it. It's on the southeast side of Australia. It's right on the beach, so you'll have a beachy vibe. Sydney is also known for a lot of urban places and also suburban places. So Trader Joe's already has a feel for that kind of surrounding market areas, so they know how to market in those areas. Also, the thing about Australia is the primary language is English. So when Trader Joe's moves across seas, they don't have to worry about that language barrier there. Business in Australia is a lot like the United States. They will enter Sydney, Australia, Trader Joe's as a joint venture with Aldi. Aldi grocery stores and Trader Joe's grocery stores are very different, but they're also owned by the same family. So if they can enter as a joint business, venture business, then I think both will benefit. They can share warehouses, buildings just for Trader Joe's to get off their feet, and Trader Joe's then in return can help Aldi with financially if needed. So I think both will have a benefit there. Sydney, Australia is economically growing. It's sort of becoming a hub now for technology, for services, and also finance. So a lot of people are migrating to Sydney, Australia. With that being said, more urban developments are being built. That means the need for more growth in normal things like grocery stores and gas stations and transportation will also be needed. So now is the prime time for Trader Joe's to dip their toes in the sand and get a start on building in Australia and expanding. One barrier that Trader Joe's will have is Australia does have a strict entry for produce and agriculture to come into their country. Some different types of produce and agriculture have a 2-year wait list, and they must be inspected very thoroughly during this time. So say Trader Joe's wants to bring a certain type of fruit that they want to sell, well, maybe they won't be able to sell it because it has to come through this wait list. So Trader Joe's is going to have to find a different source to get this type of produce and agriculture. So they really are going to have to work with local farmers and other types of distributors that are already allowed to sell in Australia. So they are going to have to do a lot of research and planning before this can even get off the ground to start moving to Australia. In order to move to Australia, a lot of research is going to have to be done, and it cannot be done in the United States. People are going to have to go to Australia. They're going to have to live in Australia. They're going to have to see Sydney, see how the people work, see how the grocers work, see where the food comes from, where the produce comes from, where the meat comes from, because a lot of what Trader Joe sells comes from different places, but a lot of it also comes from local places, local sources like the produce and the meats. So a big foundation is going to have to be made before Trader Joe's can come in, because they're going to have to make those relationships work with all the local people. So that's going to have to be, that is one big barrier that I think is going to set Trader Joe's back, but I also think it will work in their favor because it will give the local farmers another place for them to sell their market. And so I think in the long run, it will help their economy. So I think this is a big venture for Trader Joe's, but I also think it is the right venture to expand overseas as well as they are doing in the United States. They've been in business for over 50 years and counting, and they have expanded from California now all the way to North Carolina to the north to the south, and they are doing great. And you can find so many quirky type foods in their stores. Of course, you can get all your staples like milk and bread, but then, of course, you can get your wines, and then you can find fruits that you've never seen before, and then different types of nuts and chocolates, and then, of course, your cookie butter that no one else sells. It's the most amazing food ever, and who would not want to try cookie butter? So that is why Trader Joe's needs to be expanded so everyone can come and feel warm and invited by a person wearing a Hawaiian shirt and be carried around the store if they need to be to find their food and taste delicious cookie butter. So Trader Joe's definitely needs to go overseas and start with Australia because I think that is the best climate for them to begin their journey. Thank you.